You know what's bad about all these interviews I see? I see certain interviews that quote what I said. I think to myself, I ain't done no interviews. Where did this person get this information from? I'm hearing people saying AJ accepts 15 million to step aside. I ain't signed no contract. I ain't seen no contract. So as it stands, stop listening to the bullshit until it comes from me. I'm the man in control of my destiny. I'm the man that handles my business. I'm a smart individual and I make calculated decisions every step of the way. Don't listen to the bullshit from other sources. If I tell you something, then you know it's real.
There's a lot of hearsay when it comes to Anthony Joshua out here on the internet, when it comes to him stepping aside and accepting 15 million to allow Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury to go ahead and fight. Plenty of people have asked me about it, but I've learned to sit back and wait till these things are flushed out before I finally gave my opinion. There has been things that's been put out here before that I've reported on that just turned out flat out not to be true. So I've learned to take my time with it instead of just, responding or putting it out, because even though I didn't write it and even though I didn't put the information out, a lot of people will charge you with it. So with that being said, I like to just sit back and see where things at with a little bit of investigation. Even though I feel I shouldn't have to jump through all these hoops to find out the truth, I've come to the realization, just like content creators, these people who put these articles out here and put this information out here, they need content just like everybody else. So things are worded a certain way and things are taken out of context just for the sheer part of, getting you to respond, getting you to engage, getting this article or getting this video attention. Just like content creators, they need to create that also. So sometimes it's just people trying to create interest or trying to stay above status quo when it comes to putting out information, because when it comes to boxing, there's just not a lot that goes on to really report on boxing every day. So a lot of this stuff is engineered, and that's kind of what Anthony Joshua is talking about, how people are going around saying this and people are going around saying that, or how people could take some things out of context and what he says. That has to do with, people needing content themselves to be able to produce. So I've been figuring that out, but I figure if I'd sit back, things will always flush out. And when it comes to Anthony Joshua stepping aside, although he has been somewhat confusing on what he wants to do, although he has seemed like he's been unsure and you can't place your finger on where he's going with it, one thing that you could give Anthony Joshua credit for, he always have set out to do what he said that he was going to do. You have to go off a person's track record, and his track record is pretty clean when it comes to that. So if he says he's not accepting no step aside money, I'm going to have to take that from the horse's mouth versus somebody who's writing about it or any secondary sources. I've already said that Anthony Joshua, if he's not up to it, he should accept the step aside money. But if he is game, I think that he should totally go for it. And not only that, I said how I think he should go about it and redeeming it 110%. And that is by stepping in that ring and stopping Alexander Usyk. Because with Anthony Joshua's reputation, meaning as many champions as he has fought, the most out of the heavyweight division, and as many times as he tried to make fights happen, Anthony Joshua is a person who just doesn't get his credit. So if he goes through a 12-round fight with Alexander Usyk, he'll pretty much get the same response that he had with Andy Ruiz. And that is, he survived a 12-round fight and he just basically played it safe. Most people say that they would accept a win no matter what. And I think for the boxing fans / Anthony Joshua fans, a win is good enough for them. I'm a type of person, I like to shut people down and I like to shut critics up and I like to have people eat crow. One of the main ways that you can do that is get in there and stopping Alexander Usyk. One of the reasons I'm not in favor of a 12-round fight, because Alexander Usyk is a pure boxer. You don't want to go 12 rounds with a pure boxer. He's already made that mistake before. When he steps into the ring, it should be with the intent to stomp out Alexander Usyk and leave no question and leave no doubt. That's one of the things about today's era of boxing. You can win a 12-round match and there's still people going to be crying. There's still going to people say you didn't win. Hell, you can win a fight and people still say that you didn't win. It's just too much controversy and it's too much crying at the end of the day. Knockouts seem to be the only thing that seems to be definitive in whether you are a winner and you are a loser. And being that, I'm from Detroit, the Crunk style, we always favor the knockout. We always favor the stoppages. No judges is the rule over here. So when it comes to that with Anthony Joshua, I think that's something that he should step out there and he should actually do. He should leave no question, because he should have been able to stop Alexander Usyk. A lot of people bring up mentality. A lot of people bring up heart. At the end of the day, we can speculate, we can say a lot of things, even myself, but we don't know. But I look forward to seeing what would happen. As a fan of Anthony Joshua, I want a stoppage. Most people are satisfied with a 12-round decision, and that's cool. As long as you know that that's going to come with criticism, as long as you know that they're going to say that he went 12 rounds with a guy with a cruiserweight when he basically should have stopped him, because like I said before, they're not keen on giving this man credit. He should get all the credit in the world for what he has done so far about cleaning up the heavyweight division and trying to unify the heavyweight division. But in today's era with people, it just seems to be that the hard workers and anybody who wants to fight anybody, they're the ones who gets the criticism. And the people who are ducking, the people who are swerving, the people who are not really trying to fight nobody, they got all the fan support that it is out there. It's just a different era in boxing. But like I always said, boxing is a reflection of society. So that lets you know how weak and how pitiful we have become as a people over time, due to, a lot of different factors. Basically social engineering, for the most part. It's made everybody sensitive, soft. We went from a hyper masculine society to a hypersensitive society. So you have a lot of crybabies out there and a lot of people that want to point fingers and make up excuses if people win or if people lose. But for somebody like me, a stoppage is a must for Anthony Joshua. Yes, I will also take a 12-round fight decision win, but at the same time, I know that that's going to come with criticism. But like always, that's just my opinion on it. With my aggressive style and my aggressive nature, that's something that I like to see. I am a fan of a knockout, and I think Anthony Joshua is more than capable of a knockout. His only flaw going into this fight is trying to go in there and outbox the boxer. We questioned before if that's what he was trying to do, because he wanted to snatch up the accolades that was coming from Alexander Usyk. And the other biggest mistake is when it comes to Anthony Joshua, he simply does not know how to apply his natural attributes. That was something that Emanuel Steward was excellent at. He just didn't change you. He took your best attributes and he added on to them. He didn't try to change you all in one fight camp. He took your best attributes, he added on to it, and he made your style more sufficient for you. It was basically catering towards the fighter. He did the same thing with Tommy Hearns. He did the same thing with Lennox Lewis. So I think if Anthony Joshua can go into that fight using his natural attributes, he would have no problem at all. He is the bigger guy. He is the stronger guy. He is the guy who has the most reach. So he should be able to utilize that. Always use your natural advantages in life, not just in boxing. So when it comes to Anthony Joshua, I think that's one of the main things that he needs to implement. Somebody who can show him how to use his size, use his strength, and use his reach. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the heavyweight division, and out of everybody that you train when it comes to boxers, you train heavyweights different. They're a different breed of fighter that you have to train. And like I said, in boxing, the most skilled fighter is not always necessarily the winner. This is one of the things that Cus D'Amato talked about. That's why my two favorite trainers is Emanuel Steward and Cus D'Amato. I think if you had these two as a training team, oh my God, you would probably be an Adonis in this sport, because Cus D'Amato handled the mental part and Emanuel Steward handled the physical part. But the part that Cus D'Amato was talking about was character, how a person with better character will end up winning the fight. And he's saying that's over skill and that's over anything else, because it has to do with the mind and the will. Some people can have the skill but don't have the will. You know what I'm saying? Some people can have the skill but don't have the heart, don't have the determination. And what makes that deciding factor to be a winner? is the character of the person. You know what I'm saying? Alexander Usyk has a strong character, and that's something that he would have to battle with beyond just a skill set. I think the mental fortitude of Anthony Joshua is very important when it comes to him in fighting, and also being fed the right information. He wasn't being fed the right information, so for the most part, he went in there that fight with one blind eye. And especially when you're in the fight and nobody's telling you when you're losing, they're telling you that you're doing good. Well, that's just a formula for disaster. But that's just my opinion on that. When it comes to Anthony Joshua with the step aside, well, you're going to have to take it from the horse's mouth versus anybody printing it up or anybody reporting on it, or even somebody like me. So that's why I'm going to have to take his word and say, okay, there's no step aside. Some people say he hasn't totally ruled it out. That's kind of true. I wish he would be more clear on what he wants to do. But at this time, as far as the step aside, my answer will have to mimic those of the person who's going to step inside the ring. That's all I got for now. Bruce Vane, I am out.